All right, and welcome back, folks. We have got Bingo coming in to talk to us about plaster repair. Bingo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
My technical department's checking in. They're going to help me with the screen sharing part.
All right, we got Sam back. Sam, welcome back, both of you. All right, well, I'm going to turn it right over to you guys because I know people out there that think they can repair this on their own. And I think what you're going to prove to us is, boy, it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to tell you how to stay out of the mistakes of doing. It takes 3 to 5 years to learn how to do a really good plaster job. And so you can't, you got 15 minutes here to try to tell you guys how to do some of that stuff on your own. Some of the secrets about doing stuff on your own is just to take your time and use the proper materials. We'll start with some simple plaster ones first. Well, it's not really to have a simple plaster one. When you see something that's this kind of intricate because of the wood and everything, this is kind of thing we need to you got to call a professional in. People want to come in and want to do these things. They want to, plaster over this stuff. And you'll see that you can go to his box stores, you can buy the base coats, you can buy the finish coats. One of the biggest mistakes that I want people to do is, and we will never do this in our own company, is where you see the wood lath that's on there, the wood lath, do not reuse wood lath. Is the biggest mistake that I see people do when they try to do it themselves, right? And then if you look in the back corner there, there's some wood, there's some studs that are on there. People are like, oh, I'll just stick a piece of wood next to it, it should be fine. Don't ever try to use bad wood or wood that's been wet. They got wet in the rain or whatever because of the mold and stuff. And as you see a job like this, you just, Randy was just on a little while ago. And this is what happens when the roof leaks. And then after Randy fixes the roof, then I come in next. Oh yeah, okay. We'll look at another one here. Here's one here. Here's a before and after. These are just from when you come to our booth. These pictures we're showing you. But this is like a small patch. Is a patch where someone's in there. They find, hey, I got some wallpaper behind their wall, and they pull it off. Right? Don't try to patch over wallpaper. That's one of the mistakes that people try to do. Is you see some kind of wallpaper, some kind of paper underneath it, and they try to put a patch over it. And when you get all done, this is what it looks like. What happens when you try to do a wallpaper patch by yourself? Do another one. Yeah, 15 minutes to get through these. Okay, here's one here. This is one of those. Sam actually talked about stuff like this. It doesn't show a lot. Anyways, home inspector comes and takes a look at it. So there's a little problem up on the ceiling. They open it up. It turns out it's mold. When you see plaster and drywall, sometimes people call us in for drywall work, which is it's understandable because we can do both. The problem with when you see a water damage spot like this, if it's plaster, you usually can just repair it, right? If it's drywall, you can't repair drywall that's got damage from a roof leak. It has to be removed. Otherwise you're gonna have mold problems. And with the whole mold industry the way it's going up, you can't repair it. Best way to repair these kind of work, things like this, is you have to cut out what's bad, and then you patch them, and then you paint them. And if you notice, okay, we'll go back to that real quick. Here's something too that we always seem like we never really talk about this that much. When it's a plaster home, 9 times out of 10 is lead paint involved. If you look here, you see there's plastic on both sides. Okay, one of the things that people don't realize when they're doing their own repairs is the lead or asbestos that's in the plastering. That's in the old things in there. So when you chop them out and do some stuff, it's considered a lead containment as a hazardous area. So if you are doing these on your own, one of the things you need to do is you need to cover up that little dust that's fallen down where you are doing your own plaster. A lot of times it contains lead, especially any house before 1978. You have to assume that it contains lead. But any house that's been plastering was all done before. The original old plaster that we work on and around in old homes are all have lead paint on them. Yeah, here's one here that this one came in. This call came in right when that whole coronavirus came in, and he talked about the whole, whole essential workers and stuff. And this one just came right in that day. This is someone's little kid's bedroom. You got a little closet that kind of shoots offshoot. It wasn't really a closet, it was a little nook for the people, kids in their clothes, and the plaster is falling down. Okay, they want us to come and fix it real quick, and that's what we did. We went there and fixed it. When you see this kind of things, these patches like this, I'm trying to talk mostly about the don'ts, is don't try to patch in a hole just by filling it in. It's the biggest mistake that I see homeowners do all the time. You need to remove all the plaster that's loose. And then like I said, don't you reuse the wood lath. We put like a metal lath on. You ever see that's like a wire mesh? You got to put that on first. And the reason why you can't reuse wood lath, because the wood lath is originally done in the very beginning. When you build a home, it's actually stuck in big barrels of water. It's floated for a long time. And then you put the wood lath on when it's kind of wet, so it actually swells and shrinks. The reason I know you can't use it for wood lath, reuse it, because I've done it myself. As a plasterer, growing up as a kid in a family, I'm a fifth generation. You have to assume. You got to try it. So I got to try it, and what happens is when you try to plaster over it, you just little tiny cracks. Another mistake that people do when they try to repair these kind of holes or these patches is you go buy like dry compound, something that's not what this plastering is. Okay, another secret of plaster patching, especially stucco work, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes here, is you have to use products that's always softer than original material. You can't use a harder. Some people get like a 2-part epoxy to try to fill in these holes. You ever notice that people that do a patch, you ever see how it shrinks around it, or it actually looks worse? A plaster patch like this is done with 3 coats. There's a scratch coat, which is done first, which keys into the wood lath. That's why sometimes when you go to old homes, you see like the ceiling's kind of hanging down someplace. It's called the keys are broke. That's where the part that goes through the wood lath, that part breaks, right? Then you put a brown coat or base coat, goes on, and then you let that sit, and then you put the finish coat on. So it's a 3-coat process. So when you try to do a patch, homeowners try to fill it all in one swipe, and you can't do that. You want it to look the exact way and act the same way as the original coat. You have to do it in the same 3-step method. Sure. We'll stucco one. Sure. All right, here's a stucco one. Now, the problem with this stucco one here is this homeowners will try to do these kind of things themselves, but it's these are more elaborate. These are all homes. Most all the pictures here I'm showing you of homes are over 100 years old. Because drywall repair is, like I said, it's a lot simpler. You just cut it out and replace it. Don't try to reuse drywall. You got a drywall leak in the ceiling. Don't try to stick some Kills paint over it and say that's good. You can't do that. You have to remove it. And here's a really old home up in River Hills. Somebody bought a home inspector looked at it, said there's a problem. Can't really tell. And then when you start taking the stucco off, you look at it, you find all these big, deep problems in it, and you can actually see the interior walls are so rotted. When it went up on a scaffold to check it out, that stuff was like oil. It was like black dirt. It's just so rotted out. Okay, you can't just patch it whole. You have to remove the areas and go above and beyond until you get to something solid, not just something kind of solid. It has to be like where there's no chance of a mold or any of that growth, any deterioration going on, and then you put it back together. Here's a stucco chimney. These are common things that I seen running quite a bit. Stucco chimney. Someone they got this in an old clay tile roof. It's 100 years old, and someone did something with the flashing, did something, and it leaked. So you can't just people are going there and it does happen. People try to patch these things. They try to caulk the cracks and they try to do things like that. It's usually a problem that people will do is to do this. With the patching, especially with these older homes, people go out there and they go like these big box stores, and they buy like a Portland 1 cement, or a pre-mixed sand and cement kit. That's like the worst thing you can do when you try to do a stucco repair. You got to use like a type O or a very soft cement. If you stick it into these cracks, like this one shown right here, is we stick it, people like this in patches, and it actually starts to expand and explode them, and it just makes it worse. Another one here. Well, this is us. We do a lot of this tuck pointing. It's not really stucco, but it's tuck pointing. You guys probably all seen old homes. There's a 30-year period where they made these foundation type bricks. And this is one of those too where people will come in there, and this is like one of the biggest mistakes that people do when they try to fix this in is, buy a type of soft cement. You can stuff them in the holes if you wanted to, and those will work. The best thing to do is to cut these bricks out and replace them. That's the best thing to do. The worst thing you can do is is like I said, you go to a box store, buy that type 1 Portland cement sand mix kit that's all made, you put it in there, actually make it worse. We've all seen homes. You go around, you see like someone tuck pointing, it's not even the right color, and it works worse now than it did when the guy was tuck pointing because it expands. The problem that people have with tuck pointing, I know you sidetrack, give you guys a bonus thing about tuck pointing is when people tuck point an old home, they use a cement that's not as breathable as original cement. The purpose of cement in the old days with bricks is that the mortar joints would break and destroy first before the bricks go, because bricks were really expensive back then. So what you do is, and what homeowners will do is they'll go buy a cement kit, try to patch in and do their own tuck pointing. Now the moisture that was breathing through this lime cement that was breathing very well and lasting for 100 years, all of a sudden now the water is trapped and it explodes, and that's why you see these patches look worse and worse when someone tries to repair it themselves. Yeah. Here's a stucco. This is common for me when I see these kind of stuff. They have a bush there. It's been growing there since the house was built. And then what they do is they pull the bush apart. Any homeowner can fix this kind of stuff. The problems that homeowners make a mistake with is down see the bottom here where the wood is. Here's what they do. They just want to take some cement, stab some cement on the holes and paint over it, and call it quits. And you can't do that. That's what the problem is. You need to like actually take off and replace the wood. And like any homeowner can do this stuff. What I do is not hard to do. It's labor intensive, but you need to like dig it out, put the wood back in, put new wood in there, green treated. Now they didn't have green treated when they built these things, but just the one things that homeowners will try to do is they'll try to stuff cement in there without replacing the wood or fixing that stuff, and then it costs sometimes double because it actually traps the water, makes the moisture go in there, leaks in the basement, just makes it worse and worse. Okay, I got 3 minutes left. So, do you have any questions for me, or should you want me to keep going on with stuff? John, maybe left.
Hey, Bingo, what's up? Oh, do I have any questions? No, there weren't any questions, Bingo. You're kind of slowing and glitchy there for a minute. As far as we're on our end, no one's asked anything, and I think you've done a fantastic job of telling us, how to DIY it. When do you think, though, it's not a DIY? Give us a couple of examples of when it might be out of the scope and we should call you.
Well, when it becomes structural. When I showed a picture before earlier, when you take a wall off the bedroom, that's usually a structural problem. You got to get studs. You got people that can, we can support the walls and replace the wood. DIY, they can do it. Anybody can patch up. That's what I do. Anybody can do what I do. I just, been around for a long time. I know what you can do, what you can't do. The biggest mistake that I want to point out is if you try to patch a cement hole, don't go buy some cement pre-made kit and stick it in a hole and think that's going to be the answer. Use the same process. You can Google it up. There's a lot of ways, YouTube and everything. There's a lot of ways to do it. Don't go out there and think you can take a one patch kit and just patch it in a hole and think it goes. Because you remember the buildings are 100 years old. These houses they go to, and they're done with layers and layers. They always talk about 3 layers are better than one big thick layer, and that's usually the mistakes that I always see people make, is they try to fill it all in one big hole at a time.
Interesting. And where are there certain applications? Like I know we talked about walls. You touched base on chimneys. Chimneys. Do you do a lot of chimneys in this area? I feel every house has a plaster chimney. Is that something you guys do a lot of?
Yes, yeah, we have as like Sam was talking about, the reason why we get so well with home inspectors is inspectors look at a chimney and the first thing they'll say is, you better call a professional. This is out of my league, because I have drones and we have cameras and we have ways of looking what they can't see. So that's what you go through, especially chimneys. chimneys and leaks and things. And the reason I became good friends with Randy is because we keep running the same problems. We get that a chimney's leaking or a roof leaking, and together we have to figure out who's got the correct answer.
Interesting. Do you have, we got time for one more quick thought here. Do you have like what's the worst project or the worst situation you were into that you thought, boy, I'm not even sure I can help here? Can you think of one that comes to mind?
Usually they're waterfalls, but like a waterfall's got a leak, and it's like the one that's down at the museum. We built a rainforest one, right? We're doing the rainforest, and all of a sudden said, you understand all the records for the state of Milwaukee are in the basement. You're like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do this. You have to guarantee and promise it's never going to leak forever. I mean, that's like the worst situation I think I can ever put into. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can pull this off. And then he's like, okay, well, you keep thinking. We did a bunch of there's a long ways we got through all that and all the things that we did. But it's one of those things that you do. I had a chimney one time up in Whitefish Bay. The building inspectors know all about it. It's like the chimney is starting to fall a little bit, right? And he says, well, maybe I should part of this town. I said, I got to get a permit first before he can do anything in Whitefish Bay on stuff like this. So we work on it, and we built a scaffolding in it. He said, well, I don't have the building permit, right? All of a sudden, you know what? You got to take it down now. And it was starting to fall, literally right in front of us. It was starting to fall. So we had to so I got my guys, another guy, to crews and stuff. And we started pulling the bricks off and stuff, and we got about halfway down before it collapsed. That was a scary situation. And that was the only time I ever did work in Whitefish Bay where I didn't have a building permit yet, because it was an emergency situation.
Wow, those are two incredible situations. Yeah, I don't know how comfortable I would have been with the records below a waterfall. I think that had to be pretty scary. Well, Bingo, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving us some inside tips out of DIY, the Plaster Projects, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks. And it was a lot of fun.